Emily, thank you so much for coming in today to chat with me.
No, you're welcome.
I'm going to ask you my quick fire questions.
Yeah.
Just say the first thing that comes to your mind. What's one thing that sets your soul on fire?
Oh, cheesy bread.
Cheesy bread. Garlicky cheesy bread?
Garlicky cheesy bread. Or anything to dip in something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, a little bit camembert.
Yeah, I can't believe that was the first thing that came to my head. That's kind of worrying.
You hungry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always hungry. Always hungry.
Love a woman
planning my
that's
next
always
meal.
hungry.
Always.
Okay, next question. What's the last photo you took?
On my way here,
Okay.
I copied an outfit of yours. I was like, I'm dressing up as you today because I'm coming to see you.
And I've dyed my hair pink anyway.
I know, well, I'm going to dye pink now.
We can swap looks. Okay, next question. What's something that people frequently misunderstand or get wrong about you?
That I'm really kind of gobby and boisterous. I wouldn't say I'm like that at all. I'm actually very soft and a very gentle person.
Why do you think people think you're gobby and boisterous?
Well, I don't blame them for thinking it because I have a big mouth and I stand on stage and I'm a big show off,
Okay,
you know.
nice.
But I would say I have a lot of confidence, but maybe not as much self-esteem. So I do have I'm very soft-natured when you know me in person, as you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What would you say the difference is between confidence and self-esteem? This is supposed to be quick fire. I'm so shit.
Oh, sorry, no, I'm
just going.
terrible too. The difference between confidence and self-esteem, I think confidence can be a surface level thing. I think self-esteem is kind of more within. And I'm very good at kind of putting on a show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
obviously. Okay, next question. Finish this sentence. I'm still a work in progress when it comes to
myself.
yourself. Any particular area of yourself?
Do a lot of people say that?
Yes.
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 Oh, that's interesting.
Yes, because I feel like there's so much to work on with yourself. And I feel like most of the people that come onto this show have a message or go out and say stuff. And actually there's these two contrasting worlds where you have your public life and your private life and everyone assumes that you've got it all figured out if you're a public person.
Oh my God, it's
and
the
there's
opposite.
so much and it's like you just want to let people know there's so much I'm fucking working on.
Yeah, no, it's literally like the opposite of that. I think every day for me is a work in progress. I'm even discovering what milk I like in coffee. I still don't really know that.
Oats? Do you like oat milk?
I'm trying to like it.
Belly?
That's the trendy milk, and I just like milk.
Yeah.
I don't want.
Oh, okay.
I don't want any like weird posh milk. I just like milk.
So how are you at the moment?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm stressed.
Yeah.
Always. Also, I can't complain. You know, I've got lots of work and have an amazing life, and it's all good. But you know, it's stressful. Life is stressful, but I'm okay.
Yeah.
How are you?
Thanks for asking. I'm amazing. I feel like
Good.
I'm finally becoming more and more myself. It's weird, since I dyed my hair pink, everything in my life has just kind of glued together.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's like I'm starting to wear more colour, I'm starting to be more myself, starting to be more expressive. I think that when it came to being a public person, it kind of scared me a little bit, and I just started to like tone down my appearance in public. Online I could be myself, but in public I didn't want to be recognised.
Right.
I didn't want anyone to see me. So I just kind of toned down everything down.
I always find this really interesting, people that sort of find fame at first online, because it's a different thing, and it's about how can you sort of battle it in the real world as well. Yeah, hats off to you. You're doing it, and everyone loves you.
I think, cheers, darling. It was, I think it was kind of a gradual thing for me, because I'd always put my artwork online, and it was kind of slow, but then it was over the pandemic when I published my book that it all just kind of started to take off. But you've become famous through traditional media. How have you navigated that from such a young age or so?
God, well, to be honest, I remember I was 17 when I started The Inbetweeners, and the first episode aired, and Instagram came out weeks after that. So I was in this sitcom that didn't have the benefits of social media around then to kind of hype it up and promote it and everything. Yeah. So I'm always kind of really proud of The Inbetweeners. I mean, one, because it's obviously an amazing show and it's done really well. But
and you're fucking amazing at it.
But it was. I always kind of remember. Wow, it was a show that kind of did its own self-promotion without the use of the internet. You know, there was no...
So fucking good.
Because I remember what life was like before social media and how you had to graft in a different kind of way. You know, there were the lads mags then and all that. That we did that to promote our work, you know, that was the thing. If you were playing the new blonde girl next door, that's how you promoted work. You know, it wasn't.
Like
you couldn't. If I couldn't put pieces of beautiful artwork or things up on online and Instagram and sort of do things that way. It was all very much look at me, here's my body, I've got boobs. Hi, getting a bit of that? Yeah. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a bit cheeky and flirty and fun.
Yeah.
But I was fine with that. That was
Yeah.
that was the way it was. And I'm talking like I'm 80 years old, but like
That's the
it
way
changed
was.
very quickly. It's sort of, I'm looking at things now, how different they are when people kind of first start out. And in ways, I think that there's pros and cons to sort of getting into the media side of things now than, if I sort of compare the two and think, was it better when the way I did it, or is it better now? I don't know. There are pros and cons.
Yeah, because Charlotte was such a sexualized character in The Inbetweeners. And I feel like you have been almost this, because of the role that you played, which is fucking iconic, you've been an unfair victim of lad banter online for years and years and years, where you'll be sexualized for doing something simple like take a fucking selfie in a taxi.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
And it's so ridiculous. And I feel like it's this thing where women have to constantly be on the defense when they're in the media, be on the defense, constantly reinvent themselves, constantly do all of these things to be taken fucking seriously.
Yeah. Oh my God, completely. And you know, there's no wonder sometimes you lose your way a little bit, because I remember, God, I've lost my way so many times in the industry and my personal life and everything. And I do think that being a woman is harder with those things. Having to kind of, I think as a guy, and I'm generalizing a lot here now, but like as a boy, as a guy, you're sort of taught that you don't always need good looks. You don't need to be super bright. You could put a suit on and things will probably be a little bit easier. And people might have a go at me for saying that.
Looks
I am
not the most
generalizing.
important thing for men. They're not the most important.
No, we're sort of told that like if you're good looking, if you're sexy and pretty, that will get you further in life.
But the catch is that it gets you in the rooms. It doesn't keep you there.
Completely.
So the look. I feel like it's the most confusing thing to exist in a woman's body, because we're taught that we should be using them because sex sells and all this stuff, and use your prettiness and apply the makeup and do the looks. And
as soon as you put a bit of weight on, it's like, oh, you look like shit. You're fat and ugly, and it's like, oh well, what? But without my body, what am I? And I felt like that before. I've sometimes felt like when I've had, you know, and I do gain weight sometimes. I'm a woman and I like cheese and bread. Cheese and bread. I like dips. I like wine. Yeah. And I like eating, and I love going out for dinner, and you know, all those lovely things. And sort of being known, starting out in the industry as someone who was sexy or, you know, whatever. It's sort of like now people go, oh yeah, but you have to stay like that. You're not allowed to, I'm not allowed to get older, and I'm not allowed to have things drooping down.
Yeah.
And it gets you thinking, it goes on this like a spiral into all these sorts of going, well, if people now think I'm fat and ugly when I've always been known as slim and attractive, it sounds so cringy saying that, but like, you end up feeling so not validated.
And then you feel
world.
bad for feeling like that because you're supposed to love yourself. And it's like role model.
It's another thing we have to do. It's another thing we have to do. Oh, you've got to be body confident now.
Yeah.
Like, okay, God, I can't keep up with everything. Men don't have to really think about those things. No. Don't get me wrong. There's the toxic masculinity world that we live in now, and I do think now social media has kind of introduced this whole new way of thinking for men, where they do think more about their looks and they are more insecure about their weight and things like that. You know, looking at all the Love Island bodies and all that kind of stuff. I'm not saying that it's not hard for men, but I am saying it is harder for women. And it always has been. You can't change the history of time. It has always been harder for women. And I've really seen that fluctuation of people celebrating me for being slim and young and pretty. And then as I get older, I kind of don't look like that anymore. And people kind of really, they go for you about it. And I'm kind of like, well, I don't know what everyone wants.
It reminds, and they don't know what they fucking want either.
No.
The goalpost for women is ever changing and ever moving.
Yeah.
So they're always going to dangle the carrot. So you're always like running to chase it, and you're just never going to get this reward.
Yeah.
And what you're saying reminds me of this quote, this woman called Naomi Wolf. She wrote a book called The Beauty Myth about how prettiness used as this currency, dangled like a carrot in front of women, is a myth.
Yeah.
And she says that women die twice. We die once when we actually die, but we actually die before, metaphorically, when society. Well, she's talking about exactly what you're saying, where people say, you don't look like this anymore. It's when she first experienced men looking past her and men going after the younger women that she used to look like.
Yes.
And it's like, hang on a minute, what is even up with that? And then, you're caveating everything you're saying. Well, of course, men as well. And I know that you're doing that to be responsible because, of course, there are issues. But that is what annoys me is this, we have to constantly caveat things when...
My heart starts beating really fast when I talk about it because I'm scared of being like... Because the response I get constantly about this is men get that as well, and it's not all men, and it's not, and it's like
what annoys me about that is if when I'm talking about the rates of sexual violence against women, you want to say, but what about men who get raped as well? You're leaving them out of the conversation. Go and have that conversation. Yeah. Why is the only time that you want to talk about male rape victims when a woman is talking about her experience?
Yeah, we can talk about that, but not. We're talking about this right now.
Right now.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like if the only time you're using that conversation is to like butt in when women are talking about their experiences with body image, with dieting, whatever. And also the other thing with that is that you can be as beautiful as possible. You hear like Emily Atack talks about body image in her book, and everyone goes, but you're the most beautiful person on earth. It's body dysmorphia. Yeah. It's an actual thing where you cannot... I hear my friends talking about themselves in the most hideous ways that it makes me so upset because they could be the most stereotypically beautiful women, and yet they're still not enough in the eyes of themselves when they look in the mirror. It just shows you,
doesn't it, that beauty doesn't get you where you want to be. It might, it
opens doors.
Opens doors, gets you certain jobs, but in terms of where you're at with yourself, look at these amazing, gorgeous women that feel that their beauty has almost hindered them in a ways, maybe emotionally hindered them in their lives. So it's not everything. And I think even as women, we've been so brainwashed into thinking that, I'm speaking from personal experience, but it's kind of like it is this systematic thing that beauty is everything if you're a woman. And once that goes, once the blokes aren't whistling at you in the street anymore, it's all over. This is another thing I talk about a lot, and this is why, just sort of normalised misogyny is wrong. People like whistling in the street, for example. There's so many reasons why it's wrong and it shouldn't happen. But the main thing for me is that when I was younger, I enjoyed being whistled at.
I was just going to ask you.
I did take it as a compliment.
Me too.
And that is why it's so bad, because now if that doesn't happen, you go, oh my God, I'm worthless now, and I'm not. Why should we have to feel that way over a bloke whistling at us in the street? Are we really putting our entire existence and our confidence and self-esteem down to that one whistle? And it's not about that one whistle, but if we're just talking about
it's about what it represents. It's invisibility. And I think that's the perhaps subconscious or conscious fear of a lot of women, is that we're programmed to believe that our worth is based on our looks. And so the second we're no longer even getting the harassment, we're like, fuck, there must be something wrong with me. Yeah. I remember when I think I got most of my street harassment when I was a child. Yeah. How disgusting is that? I know. A child.
Yeah, me too.
And it was always people who were either on construction or in a car. So they're like, there's a physical distance between them and you. Yes. So they don't have to actually confront you, or they'd be in
I think they're not doing anything wrong.
It's some kind of like power trip in it. Because I'm obviously not going to... What do you think I'm going to do? Yeah, go on then, darling. Let me get in your car. Yeah. Like, what do you think is going to happen?
It's power and control is what I'm really learning about all this. And I've learned all this with online sexual harassment especially. And, doing this documentary I've been doing, it's every conversation I've had with people, it's always been... It's about power and control. They've been, again, it's systematic. They're conditioned to believe that they have a right over us, over our bodies, over everything. They have that power and control. It's the two words that keep cropping up.
Do you feel like with the increase of women having autonomy and agency over our bodies now with social media, so before, like you said, it would have been in a lad mag, so you'd be posing, but it would have been owned by men. Now on Instagram, social media, women are doing it with their own agency. Some people have OnlyFans accounts that they link to, so they're making money from this. Do you feel like there's this divide between... I'm asking myself this as well, men and women with this need for power because women are gaining more of it? Do you feel like it's coming out their hands?
Men are getting angrier because women are getting stronger. And that is
and having more control over our sexuality.
Totally.
Right?
And that's a really good way of putting it, actually, because I sit there and wonder constantly about, why is it that my DMs are worse now more than ever, and with cyber flashing and all that kind of stuff. I think that it's down to, a lot of it is down to the fact that they have have nowhere else to go with it, because we are stamping down on people on misogyny and on harassment in the streets, and well, hopefully we'd like to think, but there's something about it being online that they think that they're protected way more. Yeah, there's a separation. Yeah, and so I feel like what I'm sensing every single day of my life is the anger and frustration that it's like this impulsive thing that they can't help. They have to try and have power and control over me, especially a sort of person a woman who is seen as maybe a strong-minded person who talks about these kinds of things. I've noticed that the sexual harassment online gets worse the more I talk about it openly.
I'm lucky enough, actually, that most men have kind of just ignored my existence on Instagram since the inception of my account, because they just didn't think I was talking to them. I've only ever received one dick pic, unsolicited dick pic on Instagram in my life. And no men have ever tried to hit me up. It's like they just completely ignore me. And it's a beautiful place to exist in. But I know how rare that is.
Yeah.
And how many, when I spoke to some of my friends, they were like, you've only ever received one unsolicited dick pic. So yeah, I want to talk about cyber flashing, because I know a lot of my audience have been through it as well. And yeah, because you went to Parliament.
Yes, I did. So I was fronting
Legally Blonde.
Fully, like with a tiny little dog. I was fronting a campaign with Grazia. It was looking at the online safety bill, and I was basically I was trying to make cyber flashing illegal. I was trying to make it illegal to send an unsolicited cockshot to somebody. A cockshot, dick pic, all these terms that I just can't stand, because it completely, it totally. It negates the severity of them.
I can't understand the thought process behind it.
And like to say a dick pic, I think that sounds a bit too sexy.
Silly. It sounds too silly.
Yeah,
it
silly.
Sounds small. Dick pic. And you know, it's become so part of our lexicon. Yeah. Like, it's like, oh yeah, guys sending dick pics. How is a man sending his fucking cock to you just so
hundreds of them,
normal,
hundreds a day,
casual,
hundreds a day, right? So I spoke about it. I wrote an article for Grazia about it, saying, you know, and I was making jokes about it. I was kind of putting up I was screenshotting the messages and kind of putting silly, witty little captions.
Yeah.
But what I was doing was, it was actually a bit of a cry for help, because I was kind of going, I don't want people to think I can't take a joke with all this. And I know that everyone is going to be saying, but you're this kind of good time girl that talks about sex on stage and you do all this stuff.
Charlotte Big Jug.
Yeah, you play Charlotte Big Jug. Surely you kind of deserve and expect this kind of attention. So I was scared of getting that kind of response. So I put the messages up there, putting, you know, witty little captions to them to see people's reactions. And I discovered that people were horrified by it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, thank God, because this horrifies me as well.
You decided to do the documentary?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was horrified. So I wrote this article, and then Grazia came to me and said, right, will you front this campaign? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. And then I was asked to go to Parliament, and it was terrible. It was like Hogwarts.
No, I know. I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
I think it's so
Have you been?
Cool. No. No, just what you did. I think it's amazing.
And I had to sort of get up and say who I was, and you know, talk about my experiences and why I think that the importance of safety online is so important for women, and you know, this kind of stuff is worse than ever, and we need to, my opinions on why I think we need to change it. And you know, it was mostly met with all around. But there was this one guy,
so dramatic and British.
But there was this one MP that got up and he really went for me, and he said, well, I think he was just playing devil's avocado, as my auntie calls it. Devil's advocate. Devil's
Avi.
Yeah, devil's abs. Devil's avo. And he said, well, you know, Miss Atack, one would assume, one could say you're in the public eye, you've posted in lads mags, you put yourself out there in a very particular type of way. This wasn't Boris Johnson, by the way. Yeah. I don't know why I've turned into Boris Johnson.
Good impression.
Everyone in there was Boris Johnson. And he said to me, you know, one might say you asked for this kind of attention. You know, why not make your profile private? Why not do this? Why not why? It was all about what I need to change. Why don't you do this so that this stops? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Okay, I could come off social media. That means chopping up a lot of my business, right? But also, what I've discovered recently, people go, why don't you just block and delete? Okay, I'll block and delete. I've done that in the past.
Another account.
They make another account. They could turn up on my doorstep. Yeah. It doesn't stop the fear.
No.
The fear that you know, somebody has sent me this disgusting message with this disgusting photograph. That doesn't end there. It doesn't. That photograph and that intention doesn't end with the photograph.
Do you know what this makes me think of? Is I also know that you've received threats and had to go to the police.
Yeah, rape
as well.
threats.
Yes, rape threats.
Yeah.
Horrible. And this is the thing, is that this will happen continuously to the same woman, multiple women, but because you're in the public eye, it just makes it 10 times fucking worse.
Yeah.
And this will happen to you over and over again. And God forbid something horrible happens. Someone comes to your place, someone does this or that.
Yeah.
The police say that they always go, oh, we didn't see this coming. Are you fucking kidding me?
And then people are raging in
been...
the streets. It's like people rage in the streets for a reason.
We ignore all the little steps.
That is where it all starts. So people, I understand blokes that you're getting frustrated at us going, yeah, but I need to be a man. I need to sort of let my mannish behaviour out. It's like,
why does being
we're just asking to not be raped and murdered. So, and in doing that, we have to get to the root of the issues. And it's little things. It's the fact that all this kind of the smaller stuff, which isn't small really, but the stuff that has been so normalised, that is the stuff. That's where it starts. So that is why it's so important to be looked at.
Yeah, because if that's what they're
Classic
doing,
misogyny, you know.
If that's what they're doing explicitly and publicly, then what could they be doing in private?
Completely.
I think that there's nothing more frightening to me than a rejected man.
Yeah.
Because that is where,
oh God, yeah.
if the ego comes in, and obviously, a lot of men can handle rejection very well. I know guys that just take it on the chin and they're cool with it. They let it just fly, whatever. And what's funny is that I'm using that as a good example of like a good man, but actually it's just like basic human behaviour. I would never say, oh yeah, this woman's lovely because she can take rejection well. It's like, but the bar is so low on the floor. The bar is in hell for the standards of what we expect from men, to the point where if a man asks you how your day's been, like my friends who are dating men, they'll be like, he asked me how my day was. And I'm like, oh my God, that is what you think is exceptional because of how awfully we are constantly.
Like
She's like,
oh my God, he's sexy.
But also,
oh my God, he's in love with me.
But I don't shame it because I fucking understand it. When you've been sexually assaulted, harassed, or had guys ghost you, or whatever it is, that this like normalization of shitty behavior from men, the bar is going to be on the floor. And what does it do? It allows the nice guys to get all the fucking medals and all the fucking rewards in the world.
Yeah, that's
doing
so
the bare minimum.
Yeah, that's
so it's like this.
true.
This is why rapists, rapists, predators, men who sexually harass women, they make it easier for like everyone. So all men don't rape, but all men benefit from the actions of rapists just for not being an asshole.
Yeah, just for not
and
being
I
a
love
rapist.
the ones that can just acknowledge that and just say, I know it's fucking shit. I had the best experience of allyship from men when I was leaving a pub once. My friend went home and I was waiting outside the pub. This is about 3 years ago. I had really long blonde hair and I was a bit more striking to like men. I feel like I look a bit more gay now. I have pink hair and loads of tattoos. But at the time, and I'm not saying men don't find that attractive anymore and don't harass me, but I was very like feminine. And I was stood outside this pub and there was a group of men stood watching me. And I felt really intimidated by them. But then one of them walked over and said, hi, I've just seen you on your own. There's quite a few assholes around here. Do you mind if I just watch you from afar? I'm not going to harass you. Just want to make sure you get home safe.
I'm scared of him as well.
And no, obviously. I was like, you can stand over there.
Yeah.
You can stand over there if you want to. And then I was inevitably harassed. Some guy tried to get me into his car. Some homeless guy who was asking me funny, I said, sorry, mate, don't have any change. And then he started grabbing me. So then this guy, every single time I was harassed, this guy from his group of friends came in, intervened, and he didn't even do it in an asshole ego, I'm going to save this woman way. He just went, come on, mate, move the man along. Yeah. My Uber pulls up and the guy goes, go on, get in your car, it's over there. Right. I just got in my car and went home. He genuinely, he didn't ask for my number. Yes. And this is the thing I was genuinely expecting. I was like, right, where's the string? Totally. Where's the string? Yeah. What do you want from me from this interaction? And I cried in the Uber home because I had never experienced such a selfless act of allyship from a man before. And I also think that it was because of his bravery to approach me. I understand a lot of men in that situation who do want to be a good guy would be afraid of making me uncomfortable in that situation. Yeah. So he acted on that and was fully prepared for me to say, fuck off, I don't want to. And he was like, cool.
Yeah, he did. And
I just felt so held in that moment. I knew that whether he called himself a feminist or not, he was. Yes. And I just felt so safe.
It's totally, and it just proves that it's not enough to not be a rapist or you know, a sexual harasser. Yeah. It's not enough to be that. You have to. I do believe that men now have a bigger job to do.
So with your documentary on sexual harassment, are you fearing anything with it?
I'm fearing it's so hard.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be really honest. It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Mainly because it's such a problem. It's such a situation that is only just being scratched at the surface that in the past, if I've thought something about something, I've been a complete wimp and I've waited for other opinions to come out first before I go, oh, actually, no, that's wrong. Oh, no, that sounds terrible.
No, I'm wincing because I agree.
Yeah, but it's like something like this, especially, it's so frightening.
It's like the Me Too movement.
It's so frightening. Yeah, completely.
In terms of you wait for other women just to make sure you're not crazy.
Completely. And I did that. I did that with the Me Too movement. You know, I'd kept that inside for so long, the things that had happened to me at work, and then I wrote about a couple of things that had happened in my book, and then I felt guilty after that, going, well, why didn't I speak up before? And so I've done this, but I've not spoken up about things before. So with this particular thing, it's the first time I've really, really spoken up on a subject that I don't think has been scratched at properly yet, and that really scares me. You know, I'm scared of, and I'm very sensitive. I'm very sensitive.
Yeah.
I care about what people think. I'm frightened of being trolled. I'm even more so.
Yeah.
I'm frightened that the sexual harassment's going to get worse. I'm frightened my safety is going to be compromised even more. You know, but it's something I feel so passionately about that, and I think in this life you have to put yourself out there and stand up for things that you believe in. And I'm at a point now where, you know, and I'm receiving all of these messages from these women who have been through similar things, and now I feel like I have a voice. I have a platform. Some women don't have that luxury, and they don't have a platform and a voice like that. So I've been given this opportunity, and I can't let it pass me by. So I just have to be brave.
It is a lot of risk.
Yeah, it is.
Even me saying I've only ever received one unsolicited dick pic, I was like afraid of saying that because I'm like, are the boys going to be like, well, I'll fucking show you then. Like even talking about that kind of stuff is scary because you feel like you open a whole can of worms.
I'm
like, well,
scared. I'm scared of men also not wanting to be around me anymore. I'm scared of that as well.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm admitting that.
No, it happens. And you know what? It happens. It happens. Have you thought about women's reactions at all?
Yeah, but I feel like, but to be honest, I've been working with so many women throughout this process. So I feel like they're more on my side.
Yeah, of course, the girlies have got you.
Yeah, but it's mainly, I'm scared of men. I am scared of them. I've had like a strange, quite complicated relationship with men over the years since I was very young. As I say, because I've been so sexualized since I was about 10 years old. So I have a very odd, it's this need to feel validated by them and to please them. I'm scared of them.
So this is massive for you.
Yes.
If that's the way you've always felt.
Yeah, and I've always been a bit of a, you know, I hang around with all the guys and do all of that, and I hate it when girls say, "Oh yeah, I'm a boys girl." But like, you know, I mean, I've got so many friends, different types, you know, men and women. But like, I have hung around with blokes my whole life, and I have this sort of layer of connection to them, but it's almost like there's pros and cons to that because there's a complication there. It's not just plain sailing of like people just sort of assume Emily Atack loves blokes. Emily Atack loves she's obsessed with the fellas. Like that's true to a degree, but there's a lot of complication there, and there's it's a complex relationship.
I imagine with you releasing this documentary that you've got guy friends in your life, and you're like you said, this is quite a big thing for you. If you spent your whole life kind of wanting to be validated by men, you have a lot of guy friends who you love and trust, and you have to pull them up on things sometimes, whatever. I would imagine that maybe some men in your life or men you know in the industry would be try to exempt themselves from the stuff that you're talking about. Yeah. That's what I've experienced. Yeah. Anytime I like to talk about sexism. No one likes to talk about it, but someone's got to fucking do it.
Yeah.
We've all got to pull in.
Yeah.
So anytime I talk about that stuff, I've always had men be like, but like, I'm not a rapist. I didn't say you were. No. Let me talk about men and then not have to caveat every single thing. You obviously know that this is not about you.
Yeah.
On just the way that people love to blame women for not explicitly speaking up for themselves. Well, you should have said no, you should have done this, you should have the same, because women have been raised to be just so placating to every single thing that happens to us and just agree to everything, be nice, be pretty, whatever. The same way that men have been encouraged by their peers that this is what boys do. Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys. You've got to let a man be a man.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I would imagine that
Toxic.
it is the culture that we live in, but people are culture. So culture isn't just this thing in the fucking air. Culture is this thing that people enforce with each other. So if the boys are harassing the girl in the playground, pulling down her skirt, doing this, doing that, sending sexy messages, sending dick pics, whatever, what is allowing that to happen? Everything. Parents turning a blind eye because boys will be boys.
Teachers saying, I remember at school, it was always the teachers saying to me, you need to wear a longer skirt and you need to take your makeup off.
Hate it.
It was that, and because I was being treated in such a certain way by men and women, really.
Yeah.
Men and some cruel girls, but it was all to do with and at the documentary I'm looking a lot at self-blame and victim blaming and kind of how my whole life I have felt like all of this behaviour towards me from men is my fault because I've been told my whole life it's things I need to change about myself to stop it or to prevent it or to protect myself. And to be fair, people who love and care about me in my life have also said to me, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that, because they want to protect me so much, and they don't know what to do about the guys. That's like out of their hands, that behaviour. So it was all. I was so confused as a kid because I was going, but what? I feel like I haven't done anything wrong. What have I done wrong? And then I brainwashed myself into thinking, well, this is me. This is all me. Self-blame. Yeah, completely. I want to say to blokes, I want to go, we all love you and we all literally bend over backwards for you. So stop hurting us, stop frightening us and making us scared. I'm so scared.
Yeah.
I'm sick of being scared. You know? I've lived in this fear with this knot in my stomach. A man not treating me right in a relationship, or a man not treating me right in the streets, or I'm so frightened of them all, whether I'm in a relationship with them or not. Yeah. I'm frightened of how they're going to treat me.
You said I'm afraid of men.
Yeah.
There, I said it.
Yeah.
It reminded me of this quote, men are afraid women will laugh at them. Women are afraid men will kill them.
Yeah.
That's the world we live in.
Yeah.
Men are afraid women will laugh at them, reject them, take the piss out of them, blah, 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 all of that kind of insecurity stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of men's identity. They're encouraged to be masculine, protective, They have this identity and an ego, so they're afraid women will laugh at them and mock them. Okay. But women are afraid men will kill them.
I'm scared men are going to rape me. I'm scared they're going to kill me. I'm scared they're going to break my heart. I'm scared they're going to call me fat. I'm scared they're going to think I'm ugly. I'm scared they're going to watch my fat wobbly ass walk into the bathroom in the morning and then decide they don't want to be with me anymore. I know. I'm scared that they're going to be coercive and controlling. I'm scared that they're going to be emasculated by my success. I'm scared that there are so many things. I'm scared they're going to shag my best friend. I'm scared they're going to punch me in the face if I've had too much to drink and I'm being loud or whatever. I'm scared of everything. I'm scared they're going to, but all of that, I'm scared they're going to abandon, neglect and leave me. But why would I be frightened of that if they are they've done all these terrible things and yet I feel like I need them?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
I know. It's like this confusing cocktail of fear and the need to be liked and desired by them.
Totally.
I wanted to end on something before we go into the listener questions about what you would like to see for the future and what you hope for the documentary. Something like we need to end on some kind of hopeful note. I
think, well, personally for me, I have enough wonderful people in my life, men and women who support all of this. I would love to think that the more we speak up, the more we refuse to be silenced. I think, without sounding too cliche, just keep going at it. Be strong with what we feel, what we think. Not be afraid to be vulnerable as well. Not be afraid to admit we've been a victim. I think this word victim has become like a dirty word, and it's like people go, I'm not a victim, I'm a survivor. I think you can be both. Yeah. I think it's important to just keep having the conversation, keep supporting each other. I
think the thing with the victim survivor thing is almost this, again, what you said about afraid of being vulnerable, because to say you're a victim is to say you're probably still in the middle of healing from it, and there's a sense of
you will always try and heal from
always,
it. Always for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
you'll be healing, and I think that's okay. I think we obviously we live in a world too where it's like you have to be body confident, you have to love yourself, you have to not be a victim. It's like sometimes I just want to sit there and go, I'm done. I'm afraid of men. I'm really quite damaged by the things that have happened to me, and I'm working on it. Going back to what we were saying in the beginning, I'm a work in progress, you know. But I think I will be for the rest of my life. I don't think I will ever get it perfect or get it right, and I think that is really important to kind of stress and put out there, that we're never going to get it perfect or get it right, but we have to try and just be better, men and women.
Do you know what I would like? I would like for women to be allowed to be a bit more messy and not have to think about every single decision we make, because there are these parameters around us that if we get too close to them, we could be hurt. Wear this and that, you could get hurt. Say this, say your opinion. I would love to just be able to unravel a little bit, be a bit more messy, let go of my perfectionistic tendencies, allow myself to make mistakes, because I know that there is this structure where men are holding themselves accountable for their actions, and I know that when I leave the street, if someone's going to harass me, someone's going to intervene. That's like the fucking utopia for me, is where women can be a bit more messy and just let go, because we can't even go on a night out without doing the fucking checks, doing the did you get home safe, texting your friends, I'll join you to the bathroom, can you hold my drink and cover it with your hand so it's not being spiked. I would love to just relax and be messy and feel inside of my body instead of constantly analysing what it's doing, because people are responding to it in this way, or if I look at this man, is he going to think I want to fuck him? Like, what?
I think as well, going back to the media thing, I think as well the media have a big part to play in this, even just talking about, like, even just having headlines about how they write about women, you know, flaunting ample assets. You know, Emily Atack wears jaw-dropping dress and flashes cleavage. I'm just wearing an outfit.
I googled you.
It's every single
I googled
headline.
You to look about your documentary. I was like, right, let's check it out.
Assets.
You literally leave a fucking house, and it's like, you're flaunting ample assets,
and that is so dangerous. That is dangerous, because that is saying that I'm just existing.
You're existing.
I'm walking to work.
And you're not. You're flaunting.
I'm
showing it off.
The fact that I think that says it all. We're conditioned to think that women are flaunting, not existing. We're flaunting. We're asking for it.
Okay, so Emily, these are some questions from my audience. Could you give me a hand answering them?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's one. I like posting thirsty pics of myself looking sexy, but my boyfriend hates it. Should I stop doing it to please him?
This is a hard one. Right, thirst trapping is something I've sort of started learning about in recent years. I do it when I fancy someone, right? But this is the thing. I can tell when a girl is like
single,
or she's like dating someone new. I can tell with my mates when they're doing it.
Intuition.
But this is another thing. This is another reason why I hate it when people say you're asking for this all kind of attention. I want to go, but I am on the dating scene as well, so I do want to still seem sexy and attractive to the men that I want to date. Yeah. So, and I think that's fine, but we should be able to do that without being harassed and you know.
Yeah.
So. It's if you got a boyfriend, I mean, look, if your relationship is good and secure, he shouldn't really be concerned.
No.
There should be no concerns. Maybe he's concerned about what men are thinking, and that is not her fault.
Yeah.
So that is there's another blaming thing going on here. It's like it's kind of saying, well, she's putting those things up. She's in a happy relationship as far as we know. So this isn't about other men. This is maybe about her feeling confident in herself and wanting to show off a nice outfit, or, you know, showing off her sexiness, which isn't always about trying to please another bloke.
No.
He's thinking that because of what other blokes are thinking, and that's not her fucking problem. So keep doing it.
I would say also she has to think about her non-negotiables. So I have non-negotiables when it comes to dating and relationships. Right. So she's got to think, if this man, first, if he like threatens to leave her because of these pictures, immediately, no.
That's
But again, we need a lot of context. There's almost no context with this. But also, this is just the question of like, there are sex workers who are in happy, healthy, monogamous relationships and use social media to promote their OnlyFans. Women do this all the time, and there are people who are so confident in their relationship that they're like, you go make your money, you go do this, you go do that. So it depends on this. If this woman feels like it's a non-negotiable, and also the way that the man is coming at it? So is he coming at it it sounds like a place of maybe ownership with her body.
Yeah, it does a bit.
I'll just ask him why.
Yeah.
Like, why? Is he afraid of
aren't you
flirting with
trusting
other
here?
people? Yeah.
Where's the trust issue? Is it with her or is it with other guys or what?
My new boyfriend makes laddish, bantery jokes that make me feel uncomfortable. Any tips on how to handle it without coming off as a killjoy? Well,
Get rid of him.
Get
rid of him.
But we're
Laddie, bantery jokes, especially if he's describing them as that. He's got to go.
Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of feelings about like the cheeky boys and the lads and the banter and all that kind of stuff. And there's almost this pressure. I can have banter, but the moment like it starts to get laddie, makes me really uncomfortable. And I am a killjoy in those moments because I cannot fake laugh. I find it so uncomfortable. I will not betray my face. I will not betray my face like that.
I think the times have changed. I think there was a time at school where I would have laughed with laddie banter, but now I'm a bit, I'm older
at the expense
now.
of other people. Yeah, that's what I don't like.
Yeah, no,
that's
it's all
shit.
Yeah, it's so shit. And especially now, I would like to say I would like to think I hang around with people now where I wouldn't feel like that. So actually, if I had a boyfriend that was making me feel uncomfortable in any way, that's something you really need to address.
Well, that was a fucking amazing conversation. I feel so rejuvenated. It's been so long since I've spoken about anything to do with sexual harassment, really, on social media or on my podcast. It's always a subject that gets me really charged because it's essentially the root of why I started doing this work in the first place. And it makes me so excited that Emily is producing her documentary on sexual harassment and opening up about her experiences. I think she's fucking incredible. And I really hope that this message kind of provided some insight for you and maybe even gave you a little laugh as well. I think there's a lot of power in being able to laugh at the shitty things that happen to us. Thank you so much again to Emily for joining me today, and thank you to all of you for listening. If you want to find Emily on social media, you can follow her at Emily Atack. That's Emily Atack on all social media.